I love it, and I would have been a lot happier with the overall design had it had this, perhaps. More of a visual tie-in. I think it's great. I thank you, Rob, for doing that, because I think this is fantastic.
Yeah. But Stuart, the question then, before we go to the next picture, is what do you think about scale? That's the big question. And do compare to the era and say to a Connie, because that's a good base measurement for scale.
Well, yeah, I'd compare it to the TOS one, which, again, playing Starfleet Battles, I know that the body of the original one is about the size of the saucer of the Constitution class for the total body size. So not huge, about half the size lengthwise of the Constitution class, but yeah. So I'm thinking this one would probably be, I want it to be the same. I'm hoping it's not bigger, because I don't know the size of this one.
Well, you didn't get a sense in the episode. That's the great thing about this show. We can give this, actual scale information in. So we're saying about sorcery size-ish?
Yes. I don't even know how to compare it to the NX-01.
Well, the NX saucer is the same
maybe
size as the Connie saucer, so in terms of width.
Yeah, okay, so let's say the body about the same size as the saucer.
Okay, well, go to the next picture, Stuart.
You could fit the whole ship on the saucer. That's cool. It's a little bit smaller than I thought, which is actually kind of nice.
Yep.
Because it does mean the TOS one is kind of an advancement as far as size goes and stuff in my mind. So
I didn't think it was that big, honestly. I didn't, based on the window size and such, I wouldn't have said it was that big. Your estimation, probably in between this and your size, I would have said the TOS one was. But no, my take on this ship for Enterprise. This was a stealth, specifically designed stealth border ship. Again, I don't think this or the TOS one is the ship of the fleet. These aren't, based on how it evolved to the Decks, you wouldn't think this is their primary warship, even with 100 years of evolution. Look at the D to the Connie. I mean, look at the D5 to D7 to Katinga. Two of the major races keep most of their aesthetic, but this ship to the Decks is very, very dissimilar. So I would assume there are ships that's why I like the Terrorbird so much. It fits in. It has bits of pieces of both. I think this is not the ship of the fleet. It's not the average ship, and that's what I like to do, being this small stealth ship. That's why it was sent in the minefield episode, or it was already guarding the space.
It's interesting, that whole tirade you went on proved my point. If you go look at if you go back to the Starfleet Museum and look at the old ships, the way the wing configuration is very similar to the Decks. So it's almost like those were the ships that the Decks evolved from. So more of the ship of the fleet, if you will. This, I like the fact that it's so small. It's, like you said, it's a border ship. It's more of a scout ship, like a bird of prey. Something small for just kind of infiltrating, if you need to infiltrate enemy territory and not get too much noticed. I think that's great. So, but yeah, the Warbird wasn't necessarily the main ship of the fleet.
Well, look at it compared to the D5, the pride of that fleet. I mean, these aren't comparable at all. I mean, they're more advanced, but they're not tactically too much more advanced. They're not the end-all be-all, so the fact that it's that much smaller, I doubt they could pack the exact same punch of the D5 into this ship. So it's going to be a weaker ship. It's not going to be the ship of the fleet. They need to at least have something to counter the biggest ship of the Klingons.
It would probably be the plasma weaponry, because we know
they don't have plasmas yet, though.
Do they, though? We don't know, because you never see them fire.
Use them. But
I know they don't use them, but they might have had them, and that would compensate for the small size, because they would have screwed up that whole thing as well. We know in TOS they were experimenting with the new big plasma weapon, but this one probably has them, because the launchers on the front are very reminiscent of the launcher on the front of the TOS one.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I obviously did this scale to show you the NX are part of our fleet, the D5 are part of their fleet, but also give a context of 2 generations back the other Federation ship. So showing, well, actually, it's comparable to that generation of ship. Again, sizes aren't relevant in terms of exact equation. That's not what I'm trying to say, but you get a sense. Obviously, compared to the Connie, it's a good ballpark to measure against, and it is certainly a small ship in comparison to that. I mean, this is not kind of a big crew. I mean, not remotely. I mean, this crew, the NX is like it's not, the TOS is 225, the NX is like 106. I mean, this crew is probably not even going to be 50 or 60. And it's going to be teeny crew. But Stuart, you've seen the scale from this era. Are you intrigued what the studio asset original Romulan bird of Romulan warbird looks inside the other studio asset Romulan warbird. Do you want to know what it looks like compared? You've waited your whole life for this, haven't you, Stuart?
Oh, it's the Trekyards. It's in the Trekyards. Well, a lot of ships could fit in the Trekyards. It's pretty big.
Oh, this
Wow.
just shows the evolution. And this is the cheeky shot. You ready for the really interesting shot? Next picture, Stuart.
Yeah. See, you could have a bunch of these docked on the Trekyards in that middle section and launch them. I like that.
What does that say, though, Stuart? Do you think, like, just?
Well, again, that's the difference between a dreadnought and a scout ship.
Yep.
And the Trekyards could be the dreadnought of the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was based on Starfleet Battles dreadnoughts by the Romulans, there's still the same look. So I mean, you need to look at more Starfleet Battle ships, my friend.
Well, you need to bring Intuition Briefing, don't you, Stuart?
We will.
I bring
absolutely.
the cannon, you bring the other. I just think this is a wonderful thing. I mean, you know, to obviously have these models is our solemn responsibility and duty to show you things that haven't been seen before, and so to see the real two eras, to the real context of this was a ginormous jump in technology. I mean, these ships are not comparable in any way, and the designs, as you can see, are radically different.
Mm-hmm.
Is there still look alike? I think if you were to paint them both grey and show them to two people, people would not say they're the same fleet. But this is like 150 years apart.
Yeah.
You know, take away the Trek, these would not be the same design. But I mean, if you look at Enterprise J to say Daedalus, you also probably wouldn't say it was the same fleet. Make one purple, make one blue. They aren't naturally linking. So 150 years does make a massive difference.
Plus, different size classes have different functions, so they're different designs altogether.
Yeah.
So
which we love. We love fleet ships here at Trekyards. Everything shouldn't be the one and all. But yeah, I thought that'd be interesting. So there you go, DS9 combined with Enterprise era. But the next picture, Stuart, we're doing the close-ups of this ship, so we can see the main weapons. Now we know from the episode these are only disruptor cannons. This is the primary weapon is disruptors, but they were very, very, very effective against the Enterprise armor. I mean, a couple of shots and it was, so these were very advanced comparatively to the NX weapons, or at least their shields. But the NX is not a very well armed ship, especially in season 1. I mean, it was the least effective. Yeah, I mean, in season 4 it can go toe to toe with the D5 relatively effectively with damage, and 2 versus a fleet it can do. But in season 1 this could easily overpower the NX, which is but if it's this primary guns, just these 2 disruptors, they can put a lot of power, 100% of their power output is just disruptors. But like I said, clearly influence the TOS. But I like it's just disruptors again, very functional. So just designed for one sort of purpose. This ship.
Yeah. Again, I agree with everything you just said. For once, I'm agreeing with you in this episode, I guess.
Yay.
Next picture, we got a shot of the inside of the nacelle strut. Well,
and you've never seen this before, guys.
It's actually really cool.
Beautiful little detailing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it all means?
I don't know. Well, I guess they got line of sight, so that's good.
That's what they are, aren't they? As their secondary.
Yeah.
It's clearly plug and play though. You can see the connection point to just unplugging the cells and put new ones in. That's
It almost looks like it's got a hinge too, like it can pivot up, doesn't it?
That's interesting. Huh. Yeah.
Although there wouldn't be much connection when it did that.
That'd be awful. But again, the future. Don't be so 8-brain, Stuart.
Well, they could open it for maintenance and getting into the strut to fix the connection points or whatever.
Or just dust it. Yeah. Dust.
Yes.
Space dust. But yeah, I love these details, and again, I don't think anyone's ever seen them before, so very happy to give them. But the next picture is an aft view, shows like the impulse engine. I love so the scale feels bigger when you get this close to it. Perspectively, that big fin, the engines, how they go up is very organic. The curve on the struts I'm not a huge fan of. I would have preferred more of a straighter look, but
But then again, it's because I'm used to the TOS, and I love the TOS aesthetic, where it's kind of a straight mount up. So it's definitely got its own look for sure, but while at the same time looking exactly the same, which is awesome. The fact that John can do that, redesign a ship to look exactly the same yet completely different, is amazing.
He's quite talented.
Oh, absolutely. Next, ooh.
So I let you do this one.
Oh, See, that I like. And this is to scale of each other, I would assume.
So this model is the Eagle Moss bird of prey, which was taken in by Rob Bonchoon, enhanced, and then this was the one that was used for the magazine. My assumption is then that he scaled it, but I wouldn't bet my life on that. But you know, if you look at the and obviously that TOS ship, they weren't as focused on scale, the canonical scale. We only see it once. Something Battles might have said something, but we know by researching that things change scale all over the place. So let's not take that as canon. But the window size is relatively comparable-ish.
I think it's a little small, to be honest. I think
I think it's. I'd agree.
Scale it up a little bit. Like I said, the main body should be almost the size of the Federation saucer on the Connie, so it'd be a little bit bigger. But I love that model. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a full episode. Nice. Again, I'm sure we still have to remaster that. Well, our first episode, wasn't it?
It was our first episode.
Let's have to remaster it and do it properly with the proper 3D. But what do you think about the designs then? This is the evolution of tech.
Well, there's more room in the old or the TOS one, just by the main body shape. They've got more internal volume for sure, especially if it's upsized, which I think it should be.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm really impressed. I love seeing these two together. You can see the design, that's what this really points out the fact to me that one from Enterprise looks like a TNG version of the Romulan ship. You know what I mean? If you look at the Deredex, the color of it, the design of it, the curves of it, and if you had showed me this without me seeing Enterprise, I'd be like, oh, that's a TNG warbird.
Yeah.
I don't see a predecessor to the... I don't know.
Well, it improves on all the designs of the TOS one. And makes it look more advanced, more sleek, more progressive, more aerodynamic, more functional.
It looks like a descendant of the TOS one, not, coming before.
Yeah.
And
then you try and back. I mean, obviously TOS sleeks down, but just the lack of detail on the TOS, the blandness, it doesn't... I would love to have seen... We should do a mod where we try and make the TOS one green and see if it fits better. Like, give it some plating, sort of subtle texture plating, to make it a little bit closer to this. I'd be interested to see if you try and actually incorporate it into the fleet, would it look better rather than standing out as much? I don't know.
I don't know if I could get behind that. I mean, I'm so used to seeing that one the way it is that...
it just stands out so much to me. It's just the wrong colour and... Yeah.
Well, let's go to the next picture. It's a shot of them from behind. Again, totally different configuration here as far as impulse engines go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I just can't get over how good that TOS one looks.
Hey, Rob did some good weathering.
Yeah.
Yeah, those engines really do look like just jet propulsion rockets. That is the one thing I think you'll agree is just such a downgrade in terms of look.
But they look like the TOS engines on the Constitution class.
Yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, the TOS ones had those extra nurnies, those extra functional pieces. This it is more just... I mean, if you look, again, go back one picture, it's just a tube with a blue static front bit. Look at the back, it's just a nozzle. It is just a rocket. The TOS at least has some design. They have grills, they have moving bits, they have...
But in a lot of continuity, the Romulans didn't have advanced warp drives at this time. So those could be actually impulse engines up there. Because we know that the one in Balance of Terror wasn't warp capable.
Yeah.
So
it
could just be the impulse engines.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I completely agree, possibly. And then, or even they are, power generators for the plasma. I mean, they soak in the plasma, and Bassards take fuel in for the plasma. If it's built around that weapon, why not?
That's beautiful. I love that. That's a great way to think.
And that's why I love it being launched by a secondary craft. Yeah. It can it's there as it's basically a gun turret. It's a gun turret ship. So why not dedicate it? I mean, especially if you're going to a base, say it's a static target, you fire basically a nuke down. Mm-hmm. You've won. You cloak, you bugger off for a bit, and then you get picked up. But the next picture, Stuart, I hope you'll like.
Oh,
I sense he does.
I need a minute. It's so beautiful.
Oh dear.
Yeah, see, I love the bird on the TOS one. I know you're not a huge fan of it. I know you like the newer one. The newer one looks kind of scrawny and scraggly, like a chicken with some feathers plucked.
Yeah, it is. It's more hawk than big like bald eagle. It's more
Yeah.
But stylistically, wonderful reinvention. Like if you go to the next picture, which kind of shows them in contact, like I like this. It's them in sort of an attack posture.
You know how to make my day, don't you?
Well, I do try. I do try. Yeah, for me it feels like the TOS one is very much a human bird. Like they're basing off a human, whereas the other one has a certain alienness to it. Just the way it's just, I don't know, yeah. But again, that 60s quickly. Let's just do something cool. Let's John say, ooh, let's do something else special.
Yeah.
But this is the last of our specialist pictures. So any thoughts on these two? I mean, again, this is the evolution. We can see the shapes, the progression. It'd be great to see the actual TNG, if there was actually a TNG design, to see how they would really progress it, or a Lost Era ship, and have it in this form. There's that great picture where we see the NX, the classic, the A, that in this exact same formation. It'd be great to see the Romulan of this style, how that would evolve. I'd love to see that, but obviously, alas, we only ever got 2.
Well, we do know John. We could say, hey, John, here's a napkin. Sketch us something you think would look good.
Let's track him down. Let's say, John, we're designing the entire Romulan evolution of ships. And he's like, wait, what? How did you get here? We say, magic.
No, yeah, I agree. I'd like to see that kind of evolution. And I do like your thought on the bird, how the one on the Enterprise Era one looks more alien, like an alien bird, as opposed to a strictly human, literally from Earth bird.
Yeah.
But it's the TOS one for me, man. I mean, the new one looks awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's not a precursor to the TOS one, in my opinion.
Which ends us on the first picture, the beauty shot 3/4. Yeah, I think you basically summed up, and I think our fans will have an interesting opinion on this. I would love to, obviously, now Enterprise has been off the air for 10 years. I'd love to see those fans that came into Enterprise fresh, with it being their primary context, or at least they loved Enterprise. How do those fans see these two designs? You've got one specific experience. I've got sort of a more general experience with everything sort of blended in one big whole of canon. Where I was at TOS for 15 years before I knew Enterprise. But then what about the people who have Enterprise as their primary? How do they see? Do they see, oh, of course, it's more advanced? Or is their answer really, it was made in the 60s, it looks bulky and cheap, because it was bulky and cheap? I'd love to hear that perspective if you are one of those fans, to comment in the comments below, or if you're a TOS fanboy and you think this is a abomination, or if you love the old feel platey look.
Come on, guys.
I
need supporters.
Oh, I'm sure.
I know I'm going to be in the minority on this one, I think.
I
know.
I would say
the new one looks advanced. It looks fantastic. It's sleek, like you would say. It's definitely a very cool design, but the TOS one, I don't know if I'll have as many supporters in this one. I'm sorry. Just the way I think it is going to go down. We've got a younger fan base, I think.
And that is it for this week's Trekyards Vision Briefing, bringing you canon assets in a whole new way, theorising and doing all the fun things. If you want to support the show, there are 2 ways you can directly support the show. That is by donating, because everything we do takes time, energy, render energy. Just takes real life. And if you can support us either by a one-time monetary donation at trekyards.com, think we deserve $50 for an amazing special, please send that along, it helps so much. Or become a Patreon, who we love so dearly, the guys that support us every single month. It's a classic YouTuber scheme for those channels that are more than just a show, it's a channel. We produce so much, and if you can support us $5, $10, $20, $1 a month, goes into the production of the show, goes into helping us to keep going, help paying the bills, and us develop more interesting and great new shows, like the Michael Westmore show, like the animated series, like show, all these amazing new things. Support us, and we can keep going. But if they don't have money, which most people don't, what can they do, Stuart?
Well, they can share the video on all their social media feeds.
Yes.
Get the word out there about Trekyards. Don't forget to like the video. That helps us out with analytics and things. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the new awesomeness that we have coming out. Do the standard things, like subscribe, share. But anyway, I think we'll call that one a wrap, guys. It's been fun. I kind of got thrown off with this one because it's just... Yeah, I didn't know what to say. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So until next time, I'm Captain Foley.
Bye,
Bye, guys.